Let's talk about Nannup's Mannup and other trails I really don't have the skills to ride. Nannup is a town of about 1,000 people, and it's quiet. But it's also charming and sits in the heart of the southern forests of Western Australia, alongside the Blackwood River. It hosts events such as the Cape to Cape MTB, WA Gravity Enduro, and the Sevens Gravel Race every year. And it's the trail network that has really put this little town on the national mountain bike map. Officially opened in 2022, it quickly became regarded as one of the best mountain biking locations in Western Australia. And built by Three Chili's Designs with over 35 kilometres of trails, this is the reason why. There's everything from nice little connecting trails to your gnarly double blacks with some big sanders, gaps and drops. Some of which, honestly, I can't even ride.
No! Deep breath.
The network is split across two areas, which is Tank 7 and Tank 8, named after the old water tanks that sit high above the town, and both of these areas have a complete and unique style of riding to them. Tank 7 is where things get serious, an infinite sea of berms, tabletops, shark fins, gaps for the blue and black and double black rider. The trails here are big, and they're committing and they're built for riders who want to push their limits. Of these trails is Mannup. It's a double black jump line featuring some steep jumps, large gaps, and a really daunting drop into the main trail. It's about 2 or so metres into a sharp left. The great news for Tank 7 is you can shuttle yourself with your own vehicle, meaning you can maximise your laps.
Game on!
Tank 8 is a different beast entirely. Connected by the tank to tank trail, the focus here shifts from hang time to line choice. The single track is rougher, and it's a mix of rocky tech and janky routes. If Tank 7's your pump up playlist, Tank 8 is where the trails humble you. For Tank 8, you can't shuttle yourself, but saying that, there are commercial providers that run on the weekends to allow you maximum laps if you are shuttling and not on an e-bike. One thing I have to say from experience here is the trail grading really reflects what the trails are like in my mind. The blues are blues and the blacks are blacks. If you're used to riding places like Margaret River, things there are a bit more relaxed when you look at your blues and you look at your blacks, but in Nannup, these are blacks. So just be aware of that when attacking the trails. Nannup is just over 3 hours from Perth, and the trailheads for Tank 7 and Tank 8 are only about 2 kilometres out of town. And if you like, there is a MTB connecting trail to get you there from the town. Some good practical advice is to download the Experience Nannup app, and the reason for this is you can download all the trail maps offline because reception out on site can be a bit patchy. There's no toilets or water on site, but saying that, all the amenities are in town themselves, which is only 2 kilometres away. And once you finish your ride, there's a great little brewery. When it comes to rating the parks, I'm going to rate them separately, with Tank 7 more of a bike park feel to it, and Tank 8 being your more technical, rocky, rooty terrain. So for Tank 7, which is our bike park, for fun, I give it 5 out of 5. It really does link well, the jumps are great, and you can run some party laps up and down with the shuttles. For flow, it also gets a 5 out of 5. If you can get your pace right, everything just links together really well. You carry through the berms, you clear the jumps, everything just links. Jank level, 2 out of 5. There's a couple of small rock gardens on some of the trails itself, but nothing major that's going to really catch you out in that sense. It's definitely around the gap jumps. For technicality, it gets a 4 out of 5, and the reason for this is the black and the double black run are very technical. If you're not carrying speed, you can get caught out, and for that reason, I'm rating it as a 4. And for Tank 8, which is more your hand-cut trails, I'll give it a 5 out of 5 for fun. Everything here is just great to ride. It all links, it's technical where it needs to be, and the green runs flow really well with enough length to really get the legs burning. For flow, I give it 3 out of 5. And the reason for that is there are some rocks and roots and other things that can kind of trip you up along a lot of the trails. And it's designed like that because it is more of that single track feel. Saying that, the green runs do flow really well together. For jank level, I give it 3 out of 5. And the reason for that is there are a bunch of different trails across here to spread out the rating across. Though saying that, there are some very janky trails. If you look at things like the local, there are some really janky rocks and other features like that, but I'll get into that when I review each trail individually. And for technicality, I also give it 3 out of 5. As a park, there's some really easy to ride trails, your greens, some of your climbs are fantastic. But if you really want to get into some more technical riding, there are trails that do offer that as well, but I'm just looking at the park as a whole. Now, my 3 must rides. I've chosen 3 very different trails on purpose to give you a feel for what's actually out there. So firstly, Fun Guy. It's a great flow trail. It starts at the back of the network, but has some great flow, some little hips and bumps and jumps throughout, and it just links really nicely. There's not a massive elevation, but it is solid fun. Secondly, it's the Local. Top to bottom, probably the longest trail out there. And I have to say, there's a bunch of really interesting features. It can be technical. If you get your lines right, very, very rewarding. If you don't, you're probably coming off somewhere. And thirdly, Blindside. It has some great berms to start you off, and it builds up and builds up as you go through the trail itself. It's technical enough, but it has a good mix of rocks and flow all at the same time. Now this is worth paying attention to. Nannup's not finished yet. They're building an entire new mountain bike trail network about 5 kilometres out of town at the old Pine Ridge Golf Course. Designed specifically for beginners and intermediates, this new park bridges the gap between what Tank 7 currently is, and it should be a really family-friendly option once it's finished. And I can't wait to get down there and get some content and review those trails as soon as it opens later this year. If you're building a trail hit list for WA, Nannup has to be on there. It's a great place to go and ride. And if you found this video useful, subscribe. I'll be doing a bunch more videos individually on each of those trails over the coming weeks. The Nannup Trail Network is just one of those places. It's raw, it's also rewarding, and it's far enough away from Perth to really feel like an adventure for a weekend. And with the new trail network coming on board later this year, it's going to be even better. That's it for me for now, and I'll see you out on the trails.